Legend ZA is finally here, and despite what the haters say, this game has been incredible and also a lot of fun. Of course, one of the best parts of ZA is the reintroduction of Mega Evolution, and it was awesome to see so many new Pokemon finally get access to it. While pretty much every Pokemon that has gotten a new Mega has been very well deserved, I really think there are some Pokemon that are a bit more deserving than all others. And with the Mega Dimensions DLC coming early next year, I think it's now time that we rank the top 10 Pokemon that deserve a new Mega form. Now for this video, I will not be including any Pokemon from that rumored list that leaked a few weeks ago, because that's no fun. Instead, these will just be some Pokemon that are in desperate need of a buff and a fresh coat of paint with a new design. Now for each of these entries, I'll also be including what stats should be buffed for each Pokemon upon going Mega. And even though they're not actually in the Legend ZA game, I'll also be including which ability each new Mega Pokemon should get for an added bonus. But before we begin with the rankings, I need you to drop a big like on this video as it helps me out a ton. Alright then, with all of that out of the way, let's get started. In 10th place, we have Mega Slowking. Well, at the very least, this one could end up looking hilarious. If a Mega Slowbro design was to end up looking like this artwork made by Hertzburst, it could honestly go down as one of the funniest designs in Pokemon history. So obviously, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Slowbro ended up getting a Mega Evolution, but its Johtonian counterpart Slowking missed out on receiving a Mega of its very own, which is kind of weird, because Game Freak always does a pretty good job of making sure each counterpart Pokemon gets equal treatment. And this was shown in Generation 8, with both Slowbro and Slowking getting Galarian forms in the Sword and Shield DLC. So, Legend Z will be Game Freak's chance to even the playing field by finally giving Slowking a Mega form. Now beyond just looking hilarious, Mega Slowking would end up being a tank in battle. While Mega Slowbro is a wall on the physical side of things, it'd be fitting to have Mega Slowking focus on the special side of things by giving it a massive boost to its special defense stat, but also a solid special attack buff, and even some slight buffs to its physical defense and offense. As for Mega Slowking's ability, I think Multiscale would be a great fit, and it would of course make it even more tanky. And with it getting access to recovery moves like Slack Off and Rest, it could end up being nearly impossible to take down. All in all, Mega Slowking would end up being a perfect wall for almost any team. And if it was to end up getting the type of kit that I've described, it could go down as one of the greatest tanks in Pokemon history. Then in 9th place, we have Mega Jynx. Since way back in Generation 1, Jynx has kind of been a joke amongst the Pokemon community. So much so that Game Freak kind of forgot about it when Generation 4 rolled around. This is because prior to the Sinnoh games, Jynx was always grouped together with Electabuzz and Magmar as this elemental trio. And when baby Pokemon became a thing in Generation 2, they all got pre-evolutions. But then when loads of Pokemon were getting new evolutions in Generation 4, both Magmar and Electabuzz received one, while Jynx got nothing. To fix this, it is now time that Game Freak gives Jynx a much needed and much deserved Mega form. With Mega Jynx, I really think it should get a much more majestic looking design. I've got some awesome artwork here from my friend Mateus, who went all in on the Ice Queen design. Now this would absolutely do wonders for Jynx's popularity, because it's actually always been pretty decent in battle. But strictly due to its design, it's always been one of the most hated Cantonian Mons. I do really think that it makes a ton of sense to give Mega Jynx the Queenly Majesty ability. And since Mega Jynx would probably end up being a true glass cannon, it would be super helpful to prevent any priority moves from hitting it. I think it would need a solid boost to both its special attack and its speed, so I'd add 40 stat points to each. Then finally, I'd slightly bolster its defensive stats by 10 points each, making Mega Jynx a very prominent special sweeper. Now, I know for a fact a worthwhile Mega would truly save Jynx's legacy. She's always been pretty good in battle, but as I said, it's just that terrible design that has really hurt it. So, if it were to actually get a new, beautiful looking Mega, I have no doubt in my mind that it would gain a lot more fans. Next up, we have Mega Toxicroak. So, if you can't tell by now, I'm really trying to give one Pokemon from each region a new Mega form. And originally, for the Sinnoh representative, I wanted to do all 3 starters. But honestly, they're fine as is. Whereas Toxicroak has never been all that good, so I do find it to be truly much more in need of a Mega form. So here with Mega Toxicroak, we have one bold design. Of course here, it draws heavy inspiration from the Ogama toads from Japanese folklore. Ogamas are toads that grow giant in size after reaching 1,000 years of life. We've seen many Japanese characters based off Ogamas, but the most popular depiction is Gamabunta from the Naruto series. But oddly enough, there's never been a massive toad Pokemon in the entirety of the series. So I've decided to have Toxicroak's new Mega form fill that role. Now its new stat spread would be really funky. I'd subtract 30 points from its speed stat to give it 50 base stat points to both of its defenses, while then giving the remaining 25 to its physical attack, and the final 5 to its special attack, making Mega Toxicroak a slow, brooding wall. But I would also have Toxicroak change typings upon going Mega as well. Instead of it being a poison fighting type, we'd have Mega Toxicroak become a poison dark type. By doing this, we would totally eliminate Toxicroak's biggest weakness, which is the psychic type, while also giving same type attack bonus to Sucker Punch and any other dark type moves. As for its ability, I'd have it gain the water compaction ability upon going Mega. This way, anytime it's hit with a water type move, its physical defense will sharply rise, further solidifying itself as a prominent wall. As I was considering what mon to fill the Sinnoh spot in today's video, a lot of different Pokemon seemed like they'd be great options. But the more that I thought about it, I just knew that it truly had to be Toxicroak. It is a very beloved Sinnoh with a lot of fans. It's just it hasn't aged all that well when it comes to battling. So, it's without a doubt a mon that is very deserving of a new Mega form. In 7th place, we have Mega Trevenant. Honestly, Trevenant getting a Mega form feels like it could end up being one of the most likely to actually happen. Prior to the release of Legend Z, only one Colossean Pokemon ever got a Mega, and that was of course the mythical Pokemon Diancie. But as of right now, we've seen that both Hawlucha and Malamar will be getting a Mega, so I think Trevenant should also join in on the fun. Now Trevenant has always been one awesome looking Pokemon, however, it's remained a bit lackluster when it comes to battle. So I think it's the perfect time to now give it a Mega. I was able to find a ton of great designs for what a Mega Trevenant design could end up looking like, but I think I like this design from Trick Picks on DeviantArt the most. Here, Mega Trevenant looks a little bit bigger while also growing another set of arms and an additional eye, making for one very spooky design. As for Mega Trevenant's ability, I think it would be fitting that we give it an entirely new ability called Forest's Revenge, which would give a 10% attack boost to each of Trevenant's team members that has fainted throughout the duration of the battle. It'll essentially work the same as King Gambit's Supreme Overlord ability, but with arguably a cooler name that's much more fitting of a Mega Trevenant. Then for its new stats, I would add 20 to its physical attack, 40 to its physical defense, 10 to its special attack, 25 to its special defense, and then the final 5 to its speed. This would ultimately make it a strong late game wall that can still do massive damage physically as well. We really don't see that many prominent physical attackers from either the grass or ghost type in modern metas, so I think a Mega Trevenant can certainly fill that role as we once again visit its native region. Next up, we have Mega Frosmoth. Like a lot of other mons on this list, Frosmoth is a really good Pokemon that just needs a little extra push to become great. I know one thing about Frosmoth that I've always adored is its design. It just looks beautiful. But with that being said, it is a bit lacking in power. And this is mostly due to two things: its stats and the abundance of weaknesses it has. So, to remedy that, here we have Mega Frosmoth. And now, in its new Mega form, it loses the Bug typing to instead become an epic Ice and Fire type, which would give it one of the most unique typings in the entire game, while also eliminating the glaring weakness it has to the Fire typing. Like Mega Trevenant, I would also give Mega Frosmoth its very own unique ability, and we'll call it Chilling Flame, which will give a 10% chance to burn its opponent whenever it uses an Ice-type attack, or a 10% chance to freeze its opponent whenever it uses a Fire-type attack. Of course, Game Freak would also have to allow base Frosmoth to learn a few Fire-type attacks, but that's totally doable. Mega Frosmoth would definitely need a significant stat boost as well. I would add an even 30 points to its special attack and special defense. Then finally, give 10 points to each its physical attack and physical defense, making it a whole lot more usable and actually fast enough to sweep, especially seeing as it does have access to Quiver Dance. I know personally, if Mega Frosmoth was to become a real thing, I would definitely use it in my first playthrough of Legend Z to A, and it would probably end up being my late battle sweeper in the Z to A Royale. Taking 5th place is Mega Hypno. So, I did end up giving Kanto 2 entries in this video because let's face it, Game Freak has a ton of bias for the original region, and if any of them was to get 2 Megas, it's gonna be Kanto. Plus, Hypno is one of the few Kanto Pokemon to not get any special treatment ever. Seriously, it's gotten no Mega, Z-Move, Gigantamax, or even a regional form. There's that, and Hypno has totally fallen victim to power creep, as it's gotten no buffs in almost 30 years. But I really think that a Mega Hypno could end up having a very interesting design. After scouring the internet, I found the design here from the Pokemon Pets website to truly be the best of the best. Here, Mega Hypno goes all in on the Magician gimmick by having him gain a Top Hat and Cane. Now, I think it would be more than fitting to have it gain the Bad Dreams ability upon going Mega. Prior to this, the Bad Dreams ability was exclusive to Darkrai, but it's had that ability to itself for much too long. Plus, Hypno's original gimmick was putting its opponents to sleep, so it would be nice to see it come full circle here, and once again make it the crux of its battling strategy. As for its statistic buff, I'd give Mega Hypno a 15-point boost to both of its defenses. I'd also give a solid 25-point boost to its speed stat, so now it's actually pretty decent. I'd give its special attack a massive 35-point boost, and give the remaining 10 points to its physical attack. This would then give Mega Hypno a 583 base stat total, with some very solid special stats, and a now somewhat respectable speed. Mega Hypno would work very similar to how Darkrai does. It'll look to put its opponents to sleep, and then slowly chip away with its Bad Dreams ability, as well as with a stab-boosted Dream Eater attack, which will always heal it as well. This is a Mega that I would actually really like to see. Sure, Hypno might be one of the most forgettable Kanto Pokemon, but if we did give it a much needed Mega, this would drastically help bolster its prowess in battle, as well as its popularity. In 4th place, we have Mega Tinkaton. Okay, so Tinkaton is without a doubt one of the most popular Pokemon to come from the Paldea region. And as we kind of know by now, sometimes when it comes down to picking a Pokemon to give a Mega, it'll just become a popularity contest. So if Paldean Pokemon are in Legend Z to A, the top contender from this region is definitely Tinkaton. For this Mega artwork, I once again commissioned my friend Matthias to create this one, and he absolutely cooked. So obviously, this design draws inspiration from Tinkaton's lore, where it is known to hunt Corviknights. And as such, in its new Mega form, it now boasts the wings of a hunted Corviknight. Mega Tinkaton's hammer has also gotten a bit of an upgrade too. Now, its hammer has transformed into a battle axe, made out of steel from a Corviknight's armor. For this upgrade, I drew inspiration from the MCU's Thor, who trades in his hammer Mjolnir for the much more powerful battle axe Stormbreaker. Even though now it does have access to flight thanks to its new wings, I would still keep Tinkaton's fairy and steel typing the same, as it's arguably the best in the entire game. However, I would now give it the levitate ability to eradicate Tinkaton's ground type weakness. Then as far as the stat boost, I give Mega Tinkaton a 30-point boost to its physical attack, physical defense, and its speed. This is to reflect the upgrades it benefits from due to its new shiny armor. Then I'd probably give the other 10 to its special defense stat to make it a bit bulkier there too. I know this one seems a bit out there, but honestly, if Mega Tinkaton were to become a thing, and if it were to look anything like this, it would easily become one of the most beloved Megas in series history. Then in third, we have Mega Cofagrigus. I always found Cofagrigus to be such an interesting Pokemon, but unfortunately, it does kind of get forgotten about amongst a very creative and very powerful Unova decks. In battle, it's just so-so, and kind of gimmicky with its frustrating mummy ability. So I definitely believe it to be deserving of a much needed Mega Evolution. And once again here, I commissioned Matthias to create me another awesome Mega form. Obviously here with Cofagrigus, its tomb bursts wide open to finally reveal what's inside. And inside is an ancient pharaoh, drawing inspiration from Osiris, who is the Egyptian god of the underworld, known for his death and resurrection, who would then go on to become the Judge of the Dead. Now this would be some epic lore to really help resurrect Cofagrigus' popularity. I'm honestly not too sure what I'd want its typing to be upon going Mega. Part of me would want it to be Dark and Ghost, but then I could also see it being Fire and Ghost type due to Osiris' role in Egyptian mythology. But then I could also see it just staying as a pure Ghost type too. But as far as its ability, it would definitely have to change. And I do think we should create a new ability here, and we'll call it Ankh King, which translates to King of Life. And this new ability would heal the user 1/16 of its health after each turn, essentially working the same as the leftovers item. And honestly, I think Mega Cofagrigus would work ideally now as a physical attacker. For its new stats, I'd actually kind of swap base Cofagrigus' offenses and defenses, which kind of reflects it coming out of its protected tomb. So it'd have a physical attack stat of a whopping 185, and then a physical defense of just 65. Then its special attack would come in at 120, and its special defense would come in at 110. And finally, Mega Cofagrigus' speed stat would get a respectable 20-point boost, now coming in at a still underwhelming 50. Which obviously isn't great, but it should be enough to outspeed most common walls. If Cofagrigus' Mega was to be anything like this, it would make for one of the most unique Pokemon in the entire dex, while also boasting one of the most epic designs and interesting lore amongst all Mega Pokemon. In second place is Mega Mimikyu. So, does Mimikyu actually need a Mega? Probably not, but let's be honest, we all want it to get one. Plus, Raichu was just revealed to get not one, but 2 different Megas in the DLC, so it does seem like there might be an outside chance of Mimikyu getting one too. Especially considering Mimikyu is a massively popular Pokemon. Unsurprisingly, there's loads of incredible fan art for Mega Mimikyu, but my absolute favorite was this piece here from Reddit user KingBishop96. Here in this form, Mimikyu has taken the appearance of some of the most iconic and most lovable Pokemon in the entire series. It's imitating Mudkip, Mewtwo, the Pika clones, and then up top, its most prominent headpiece seems to be mimicking Charizard. But this also looks very, very similar to another dragon, but this one is from a different franchise altogether. If you can't tell who I'm hinting at, it's Agumon from the Digimon series, who has kind of always been the real-world version of Mimikyu, as Agumon in the Digimon series has forever been jealous of the love and attention that Pikachu and the Pokemon franchise has received from fans all around the world. This is not just subtly genius, but it would also be some top-tier trolling as well. As for Mega Mimikyu's ability, it's another fun one that I've made up. This new ability will be named Doppelanger, and the description will be as follows. If this Pokemon is facing another Mega Pokemon in battle, the user's same type attacks receive an additional 50% boost. Now I do need to note that this isn't technically the same as adaptability, which just doubles the base stat power of each stab move. The Doppelanger ability accounts for the 1.5 times boost from normal stab into the ability, then multiplies the product of that power times an additional 1.5, ultimately making it a bit more powerful than adaptability. Then for its stats, I'd give a significant boost to both of its attack stats, with its physical gaining 40 points and its special gaining 15. Its speed stat would also see a significant boost by it shooting up an additional 30 points. Then I'd put the final 15 points into its physical defense. All of these boosts would really round out its stats very well. I do think that this Mega would end up being one of the most busted ever. I mean, base Mimikyu is already great, so its Mega may really push it over the edge. But who cares? Mimikyu is awesome and deserves a little bit of love. But the Pokemon that is most deserving of a new Mega form is Flygon. This one is obvious, and by now, it really should have already happened. If you didn't already know, many years back, Game Freak came out and said that they did intend to give Flygon a Mega form in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. However, due to artist block, they were unable to come up with a proper design for it, so it ultimately ended up getting scrapped altogether. And Flygon itself ended up with nothing. And since then, it's kind of had trouble keeping up with other powerful dragon types introduced generation after generation. But now is probably the last chance to ever give one of the most beloved Hoenmons a much-deserved powerful Mega form. There's tons of great Mega Flygon designs scattered all throughout the internet, and you can't really go wrong with any of them. I, for one, really like Subjectively 5's artwork as seen here. It still holds true to the natural charm that base Flygon had, but it does make it seem a whole lot more dangerous. The only thing that really needs to happen is that we have to have it swap out its secondary ground typing for the bug typing upon going Mega. As far as an ability, I think Tough Claws would fit it perfectly. That way, moves like Dragon Claw, Outrage, and U-Turn could end up doing some massive damage. Then for its statistic boosts, we'll keep it very simple. Just add 20 points to every stat. Except for HP, of course, because those can't ever change mid-battle. This would finally give Flygon its much-needed and much-deserved buff that it's kind of needed for 3 whole generations now. I do have a very strong feeling that we will end up getting a Mega Flygon in Legends Z to A. If not, the fans will probably riot, because Flygon is easily the most deserving Pokemon that should receive a Mega ASAP. Well guys, that's that. Those are the top 10 Pokemon that are most deserving of a Mega Evolution in Legends Z to A. I know I'm super excited to finally get the chance to play this game, and honestly, I'm thinking of giving away a copy or two to one of you guys real soon. So stay posted for that, and let me know what you think of these rankings in the comments section below. Thanks guys.